Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today with a bit of a paradox,
Yeah.
something that's been nagging at me.
Oh, yeah.
We all want to be happy. I mean, that's the goal, right, is the universal setting. But what if the actual effort, the chasing of it, the grinding for it, is the exact reason we're miserable?
It sounds completely backwards, doesn't it?
Totally.
Like saying the best way to win a race is to stop running. But that's the core of what we're unpacking today. We're looking at the meaningful pursuit of caring less.
Which is really an exploration of Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Exactly. And our mission here is to, take a sledgehammer to this idea that happiness is about adding more positivity, more success.
Instead, it's about subtraction. It's about caring less. Now, I have to be honest, when I first heard that, I got a little worried. It sounds a bit like apathy.
Right. And that is the biggest misconception. We have to clear that up right away. This is not about being indifferent. It's not caring about nothing. That's just a defense mechanism. This is something much more active. It's about consciously choosing what not to care about.
So you have the fuel left for what actually matters.
You got it. The fuel.
Okay, fuel's a good word there, because I think most of us, myself included, feel like we are just running on fumes.
Yeah.
Modern life is this constant demand for our attention.
That is the perfect setup for the first big idea in the text, what it calls the economy of caring.
The economy of caring.
Think about your day. From the second you wake up, you're just bombarded. You need to be a great professional, a loving partner, a perfect parent.
You need to be rich, fit, have an opinion on the news.
Make sure your socks match, care about what your friend from high school posted on Facebook. I mean, the list is endless.
And if you drop the ball on any of them, even the socks, there's this, microdose of guilt.
Yes, like you're failing at being a person.
Right.
And the source introduces a concept here that changes everything. It calls it the emotional resource constraint. It says quite simply, you do not have unlimited emotional energy.
You have a limited number of, fucks to give, to use the book's language.
Exactly. Let's maybe stick with cares for the deep dive.
Fair enough. It's a bank account.
It's a bank account, and most of us are spending our emotional currency like we're billionaires, but our budget is, minimum wage.
So you spend 20% of your energy getting mad at traffic.
30% worrying about a passive-aggressive email, another 20% on whether your lawn looks good. What's left?
You're emotionally bankrupt by 10 a.m.
Precisely. That feeling of being overwhelmed or burnt out isn't usually from too much physical work. It's because you're caring about too many things that give you no return on your investment.
So the solution isn't more coffee or more productivity hacks.
No, the solution is to stop spending it on the excess noise. You have to edit.
You look at that list. Be rich, be liked, be perfect, and just. Start cutting things.
And you have to ask, do I actually care about this, or do I just feel like I should care?
Oh, that shit is such a trap. I catch myself all the time. I should care about this thing on Twitter. But it doesn't affect my life. I can't change it.
And by not caring, you save that energy for something you can change. And that's the pivot. Happiness isn't a lack of problems.
It's dealing with the problems you actually enjoy having. Wait, hold on.
I knew you'd pause there.
Problems you enjoy having. That sounds like a complete oxymoron. Who enjoys problems? I thought the whole point of solving them was to get to a place where they stop, happily ever after.
And that's what the source calls the someday fallacy. This is a hard reality check. The text is very, very blunt. Problems never disappear.
Never. Not even if I win the lottery.
Especially not then. Think about it. You win the lottery. Great. Your money problems are gone.
And now you have new ones?
Totally new ones. Family asking for money, friends you can't trust, the anxiety of losing it all. The problems didn't stop. They just leveled up.
That sounds, honestly, kind of depressing. If I'm always going to have problems, what's the point?
It only feels depressing if you think the goal is to have no problems. But if you accept that life is just a series of problems, then the goal has to shift.
So the question isn't, how do I avoid problems?
The question becomes, what kind of problems do I want?
Okay, unpack that. Because I definitely don't want the problem of being broke. But I'm not sure I want the problem of an 80-hour work week either.
Well, the source breaks it down into two types: comfort problems and growth problems.
Comfort problems.
Those are the empty ones. They come from trying to be liked or impress people or worrying about stuff you can't control. They just drain you.
Like stressing over a scratch on a fancy car.
Exactly. You're stressed, but for what? For status. That's a comfort problem. But growth problems are different. These are the struggles that actually align with your values.
Okay, give me an example of a good problem.
Let's say you want to run a marathon. The training itself is a huge problem. Your legs hurt, you have to wake up early, you get blisters.
Objectively unpleasant things.
Right. But you don't mind them. You might even weirdly enjoy them because they're part of a purpose that you chose. You chose the struggle.
I see. So the pain is the same. Stress, discomfort. But the context changes everything. One feels like suffering, the other feels like progress.
Bingo, you're going to struggle no matter what. So find a struggle that's worth your limited time.
And that leads us into what I think is the most controversial part of this whole philosophy. I had to read this section a few times. The part about responsibility versus fault.
I had a feeling you'd get stuck there. It's where most people push back.
Well, yeah. The source says, and I'm quoting here, "You are responsible for everything in your life. Everything." That feels so unfair.
How so?
If I get mugged on the street or I get laid off because the economy tanks, how is that my responsibility? That sounds like victim blaming.
And this is where we have to be surgically precise. The source makes a huge, huge distinction between fault and responsibility. They are not the same thing.
Okay, break it down for me.
Fault is past tense. It's about who caused the thing. You get mugged. Not your fault. It's the mugger's fault, period. The economy crashes. Not your fault. These things happen to you.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
But responsibility, that's present tense. Responsibility is about how you choose to respond to what happened. The mugging wasn't your fault, but it is now your responsibility to deal with the trauma, file the report, and decide if you're going to let it make you afraid forever.
So fault is the cause, responsibility is the reaction.
Correct. And we confuse them all the time. We think if something isn't our fault, we shouldn't have to fix it. We say, my boss is a tyrant, so it's not my fault I'm miserable at work.
Right. And that feels good. It's validating to blame the jerk.
It's very comforting. But the source says that comfort comes at a terrible price. It leaves you powerless.
Powerless how?
As long as your misery is your boss's fault, you have to wait for your boss to change for you to be happy. You've handed him the keys to your entire emotional state.
Oof. That hits home. So by saying it's not my responsibility, I'm basically becoming a passenger in my own life.
Exactly. And taking responsibility feels heavy. It sucks to admit, okay, my boss is a jerk, but I am the one choosing to stay here. But, and this is the key equation in the whole text, responsibility equals freedom.
Because once you accept responsibility, you can actually change things.
Yes. You can change your reaction, you can change your job, you can set boundaries, you stop waiting for the world to be nice to you, and you start navigating the world as it is.
It all connects back to that bank account analogy, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
If I blame everyone else, I have to spend my care budget on everyone else. If I take responsibility, I only have to care about what I do.
It narrows your focus dramatically. It cuts the noise.
Right.
Which is critical because as we get into the next lesson, you're going to fail a lot.
Right, this section on failure is progress. And again, this is one of those things that sounds great on a motivational poster, but in reality, failure hurts.
It's embarrassing. We do everything we can to avoid it.
Yeah. But the source argues that this avoidance of failure is actually an avoidance of growth. We protect our egos so much that we just stop learning.
The text uses that example of a baby learning to walk. It's perfect. A baby stands up, falls down, smashes its face on the carpet, cries, gets up, does it again.
But if a baby had adult psychology,
it would fall once, look around to see if anyone saw, feel this crushing shame, and say, you know what? Walking isn't for me. I'm a crawler. That's my identity now.
you'd all just be crawling around.
We would. As we get older, we start caring so much about what failure implies. We stop asking questions in meetings. We don't ask someone out. We just settle into this comfort zone where we're competent but completely stagnant.
So how do we break that? That fear is pretty primal.
The source suggests a litmus test. If you aren't failing, you aren't pushing your limits. You have to reframe that pain not as a stop sign, but as a growing pain.
It's about being willing to look foolish for something that matters.
Yes. And if you're failing at something you don't care about, that's just suffering. But failing at something you value, that is the path.
Now, we've covered a lot of heavy stuff, but the source saves the biggest, heaviest hammer for last. Mortality.
Yeah. This is where it gets a little existential.
The text says death gives life meaning. And my first instinct is, let's just skip this part. Who wants to think about dying on their commute?
It is a buzzkill, and that's why we build what they call immortality projects. We try to put our names on buildings, get famous, obsess over our legacy. We're trying to convince ourselves we're permanent.
Because the alternative that we're temporary and small is just terrifying.
It is, but the source argues that avoiding this truth is what causes so much of our anxiety. When you think your time is infinite, everything feels like a huge deal. That traffic jam is a tragedy.
So realizing you're going to die.
Helps. It is the ultimate prioritization tool. Think about scarcity. If gold was as common as dirt, no one would care about it. Its value comes from being rare. Your time is the scarcest thing you have.
When you put it that way, spending 3 hours arguing with a stranger on the internet seems
Insane.
completely insane.
It's a waste of the most valuable thing you own.
Yeah.
When you look at your current stress through the lens of I am going to die, the economy of caring becomes crystal clear. You just don't have time for the comfort problems.
It strips away all the ego.
Completely. The ego wants to be admired. The reality of death just asks simpler questions. Did I love people well? Did I do things that mattered to me?
It's interesting. We started with caring less, which sounded negative. But through this lens, caring less about the noise lets you care infinitely more about the signal.
That is the beautiful irony of it all. By accepting your own insignificance in the grand scheme of things, you're finally free to find your own significance.
Okay, so let's synthesize this. We've torn down positive thinking, we've embraced problems and death. What does this actually look like in practice?
It's not a philosophy for a mountaintop, it's a tool for the trenches. And it really boils down to 3 actions from the text. First, accept reality.
Stop wishing for a problem-free life.
Exactly. Stop fighting the fact that life is hard and you will fail. Second, choose your values. Decide which problems are your growth problems.
Pick your battles.
Pick what you are willing to suffer for. Your art, your family. And third,
Let me guess. Let go of the rest.
let go of the rest. That is the subtle art. The peer pressure, the status games, the things you can't control. Just refuse to finance them with your emotional energy.
It's like an efficiency protocol for your brain.
That's a great way to put it. We spend so much energy on friction, on just wishing reality was different. If you
Yeah.
remove that, all that energy can go toward forward motion.
It's a practice, right? You don't just decide this once and you're done.
No, absolutely not. You have to wake up every morning and defend your attention. It's like weeding a garden. The weeds of caring too much about the wrong things will always grow back.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener.
We always want to leave you with something to do.
Right. The source makes it clear. Problems never go away, they just change. So here is the question right now. I want you to scan your brain for the thing that is stressing you out the most today, that knot in your stomach.
Find that problem. And then ask yourself the hard question. Did I choose this?
Is this stress from a value you care about? Is the deadline stressful because you love your work? Is the workout hard because you value your health?
Or is it an empty problem? Did you pick the stress up because you were afraid to say no or wanted to look perfect, or you're trying to control something that just isn't your responsibility?
Because if you didn't choose it, and it is not leading to growth, then you have the most powerful option of all. You can choose right now to let it go.
That is the ultimate freedom.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Go check your emotional bank account, and we'll see you next time.